Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Libra energy. And I'll get some cards out here, get some clarifiers on it to find out what is going on in Libra energy. And of course, people can use their Libra energy. They can harness high vibe Libra energy. They can harness more worldly viewed Libra energy. You've either been enlightened to the truth that there's more to life than money and materialism and status and image, and you make your life about love. And some people haven't learned that lesson yet, and they still think the things of the world will make them happy. They don't need love. Or they get caught up in the illusion of the world, and then they start rejecting love and thinking the status and money is more important. And then you got the people who harness downright shadowy Libra energy, who might be kind of like narcissistic, false, fake, superficial, get in relationships, try to manipulate people, try to control people, very egotistical, self-centered, and if people won't indulge them in their fantasy of how they view relationships, then they'll do all this stuff to cause them pain and heartbreak, to try to manipulate them in their fear and insecurity or want for money or image to stay in a relationship with them. And if the people see through the illusion of who they are, because most people get in a relationship and present themselves as being like a pillar of society, right? Like I'm grounded, I'm stable, I'm mature, I'm not selfish, I'm not greedy. And then when people see through the illusion of who they are, then they don't want to be in a relationship with them anymore either, because they only want to be in a relationship with people who don't see through the illusion, who buy the illusion, and will stay in a relationship with them because of the status or the money or out of their fear or insecurity. So we're going to kind of talk about all those things. So we have the Queen of Pentacles, the Hangman, and the King of Pentacles, and the Ten of Wands. And the reason is because of the Page of Pentacles. So, Libra is represented by the scales of justice, so just keep that in mind. And then the queens in tarot can talk about our emotional state, and the kings in tarot can talk about how we're presenting ourselves in the world. And people can present themselves in the world whatever way they want, right? Are they someone who, a true match within someone is that emotionally they're very mature, they've nurtured themselves, they love themselves, they don't like align with their shadowy nature of being defensive and critical to themselves and others and selfish and greedy and materialistic. If you're going to present yourself in the world as a high vibe King of Pentacles, whether you're male or female, you're trying to present yourself in the world as I'm a very nurturing, stable, grounded, mature person. The King and Queen of Pentacles is the only married suit of the deck, so people are trying to present themselves in the world as being high vibe. Well, I view the King of Pentacles as Capricorn energy, which in high vibe, well, low vibe Capricorn energy is represented by the devil. So in high vibe, you'd be someone who's done work and effort to free yourself from your more worldly, selfish, greedy, immature, indulgent, self-centered nature. Someone who's grown and matured yourself, who's learned lessons in life, who can be a good partner, who can be a good parent, who can be a good business leader, because they've freed themselves from their more base nature. So that's what people are doing in the world. They're trying to present themselves as that. Some people truly are that because emotionally, that this is a true reflection of who they are emotionally. And some people, they present themselves as that way, but in their Taurus energy of Queen of Pentacles, they're really emotionally more invested in the world, in money, materialism, status, image, wanting people to view them a certain way, it's really important to them for people to look up to them and admire them and respect them and like to be surrounded by luxury in life. The difference between the two kind of people and what we think is just and fair in our Libra energy is the Hangman energy, which is Pisces energy. Shadowy Pisces energy are people who have illusions about the world and about relationships. They could be people who emotionally are very materialistic and self-centered and stubborn and all that, but they try to create this illusion that they're high vibe. I'm just, I'm fair, I'm loyal, I'm committed, I'm stable, I'm grounded, but really they operate more from pride and ego, very worldly driven, ego driven, materialistically driven, but they want people to see them as a nurturing, loving, stable, grounded person so that people will move forward with them and invest in them in a relationship. Because if they're very kind of prideful, egotistical, and maybe they're not in a relationship right now, they could be overwhelmed because some people, I think, who are in shadowy energy, you know, it's all this thing about status and image and all that stuff, you know? Like that is my, instead of, that's how they derive their sense of worth and value, by all these things and positions and whatever that they have in life. And some people could have kind of parted ways with someone else in their life because of this difference of the Pisces hangman energy. They could have been in relationships with people who seemed like a counterpart to them. They could have even been married, or they are married. But the difference is between how they also harness their Pisces energy. Shadowy is being very stubborn, very prideful, trying to prove a point. Emotionally, I want to keep repeating patterns of the past. If that means I want to be immature and prideful and egotistical, then I want to be prideful and egotistical. And the high vibe people are like, I don't know that I want to keep investing in you. It's overwhelming being in a relationship with you. For other people, the other people in the relationship could harness high vibe Pisces energy. They have looked at life. They've tapped into their emotions and their intuition. They invested in tapping into their emotions and their intuition and their hopes and their dreams to look at life from a different perspective, to how they view themselves in the world, what they believe is possible, how they even view the world, you know, and how they view themselves. And people could have been in a relationship and initially they could have been on the same page, where it maybe was about maybe more investing in the world and repeating these patterns and maybe operating more from pride and ego a little bit. And maybe, you know, because we all grow up in the world and the world can tell us, you know, it's about how you look in the world and it's about how much money you have and what you wear and what you own. And, you know, that's what gives you worth and value. And, you know, put in work and effort to have those things and you'll have stability and security and you'll be happy. When we get in relationships and do these things in our life to learn lessons in life about what really does make us happy and what doesn't make us happy. And some people could have gotten in a relationship or be in a relationship. They could have had a dream that they thought was going to come into reality. But one of the people maybe has a problem about emotionally growing and maturing themselves. That could seem overwhelming. You know, the Pentacle suit also talks about things being very grounded and stable and fixed in the world. And the Page of Pentacles can be about willing to invest in new ways of being. And human beings in general can be overwhelmed about change and not like change. And if people are very used to doing things the way they've done it and living their life in this very grounded, practical way of being, you know, it could seem kind of overwhelming to do things differently. But one of the people wants to. And this could have been a relationship in the past or it's a current relationship. You know, if this was a past relationship, Other people moved on because of these kind of issues that were going on. One person could have thought, I thought we were going to do things the way I've always done it emotionally. I don't tap into my emotions and my intuition. I don't grow and mature myself. I don't take bold creative action to invest in learning and growing and maturing myself or doing things any differently. I really like things to do things the way I've done it. That's the way I've done it. That's the way my family's done it. That's the way my friends do it. That's the way I want to do it. And other people could have felt stuck in that relationship because it's like, I thought we were going to get in a relationship, and I thought we had a dream, because Pisces is about having a dream of what we think life is supposed to be like and relationships are supposed to be like. And the whole thing is, people could have found out they had different dreams. One could have been motivated and inspired and thought, I am motivated and inspired to shed some layers of my fear, my insecurity, my self limiting beliefs, my kind of prideful nature or materialistic nature, and I have hope and faith of growing and maturing myself because I don't want to carry that baggage around with me. You know, who wants, and I think that's the whole point of life, is that throughout our life, we always have lessons to learn, because there's so many layers and complexities to us as human beings, and we do have our worldly nature. We can't get rid of our worldly nature. And our worldly nature is our more immature, indulgent, lazy, prideful, egotistical, self-centered, I want things the way I want it, our lustful, greedy, prideful nature. And that is an aspect within ourselves. We also have an aspect of ourselves that we can tap into, our more loving, intuitive, wanting to rise above our more base. Because you could consider that if we kept staying in those shadowy energies, it's like we keep staying like an immature child who wants to be indulged in a relationship. And some people, we have two people that have grown and matured themselves to a status, but, within ourself, we have our heart, our mind, we have our pentacle nature, which is our worldly nature, and we have our creative, inspired nature. Some of us could always live in our more worldly nature, but we have other aspects to us. We have our emotional, spiritual nature. We have our creative, inspired nature. We have our ideas and our thoughts and our imagination. Are we just going to live with one aspect? We have the four elements to deal with. Was our dream always to just operate from our worldly nature? For some people it was. Some people even thought that was their dream. I agree. I think so too. And then they got in it and it's like, oh, I guess I feel stuck. I guess I am more motivated and inspired in my 10 of Wands, which is Sagittarius energy, for more. I want to look at life as an adventure to be lived. I don't want to make my life just about money and materialism and status and image, or live my life the way the world does. I am inspired to want more, and maybe, the high vibe would be about eventually growing and maturing yourself in all the four suits. Your heart, your mind, your 3D world, to eventually be an emperor and empress where not one aspect of your life is running your life. Just like we go through a phase where our heart can run our life. Oh, but I love them. And we kind of drive our life off into the ditch because we're not being grounded and practical. We're not being logical. We're kind of letting, or our lust or our greed could drive our life off into the ditch. When you get to mastering the suits of your life, getting into life experiences to learn lessons about how to manage your emotions and your feelings so you don't run your life off into the ditch because I love someone, and not letting our want for stability and security run our life off into the ditch, and we ignore the other aspects of ourselves. Making our life so much about money and materialism and status and image, and we're more complex than that. Eventually, some people keep ignoring it. Some people turn their back emotionally onto listening to their intuition. Maybe they ignore their more creative, inspired nature because that would mean that they have to invest in other aspects within themselves, kind of connect in with maybe more of their emotions. And some people are like, no, I don't want to do that. That's overwhelming. Nope, let's make it about money and materialism, status, image, And you just find out that you're in relationships with people and some people with the Ten of Wands, it could be that they kept trying, Ace of Wands, trying to get people to be bold and brave, to maybe connect in with their emotions a little bit more, to budge a little bit more. Queen of Pentacles is Taurus energy, which can be very stubborn and prideful, and it also represents our underlying philosophy of life. And some people's philosophy of life, why do we have those philosophies of life? Some people do love, really motivated by love, inspired by love, want to be in loving relationships, and other people, not so much. They're more motivated and inspired by the world, either indulging in the world or money and materialism and status and image. And that could be what makes them feel safe and secure. And love seems dangerous, Why do people have those different philosophies of life? It could be how they grew up. It could be things they got in their own head. Could have been because they were hurt in a relationship before and they got stuck in their pride and ego. And now it's like, nope, I have never wrapped my brain, because Sagittarius energy is about higher learning and education. Some people got in their pride and ego because they did invest in a relationship based on love once or twice or whatever. And it didn't work out. And then they've been in their pride and ego ever since. And they've never taken the time and energy to work through their overwhelm that relationship didn't work out. And then they constantly just stay overwhelmed. In order to complete a cycle, this is the Ten of Wands. Each suit goes up to 10. If we don't work through it to drop it, if it was the Ten of Swords, it'd be to work through all those fears, all those insecurities, all those thoughts, so we can work through them, take them down one by one. Where the hell did this get in my head? Oh, was that Uncle Joe when I was 8? Why do I keep thinking that? Let that go, Why do we have these thoughts? Why do we have these certain things? Where did they come from? Why do we carry them around with us forever? Why are we unwilling to take that creative, inspired action in our life to get out of our pride and ego and our more emotionally defensive nature? And why not go live life as an adventure to be lived? And some people are like, that's too dangerous. I'm not doing that. And some people have been trying to get people, and they've done it like 10 times. Would you please get out of your ego? Would you please quit repeating these patterns of behavior that are the same old thing? Can we grow and mature ourselves? Can this relationship go to the next level? Maybe some people aren't taking any passionate, creative, inspired action in the relationship, and the other person is starting to feel overwhelmed because that might be a pattern of relationship or being that they're used to being in. Oh, you hurt my feelings. I'm kind of immature. You hurt my feelings. I'm stubborn, male or female. I'm going to try to manipulate you to do things my way. Whatever. Let's get some clarifiers on it. Oh, I guess I did. Let's go see. Yeah. We could have some people who emotionally, even though they present themselves in the world as being very stable and like a nurturing, loving person and family person probably, they really have a lack mentality. It could be sometimes for some people, enough is never enough. I don't have enough money. People aren't paying enough attention to me. Maybe they live more from their mind than their heart, and they sabotage themselves from moving forward in life. If they ever emotionally think of changing their philosophy of life, then they get all caught up in their head about, oh no, I could get backstabbed and betrayed. I can't invest in people emotionally. They could hurt me. What would everybody else think? All these fears and insecurities about if I live my life authentically and I let go of my old ways of being and the old ways of being that I've clung to, and I really went and authentically lived my life. Oh my gosh, they get all caught up in their head about it. So they never move forward. They also don't finish a cycle. It's like they decide the answer to resolving the fact that I feel stuck. I've worked through all the options and I reject them all because they don't align with my philosophy of life. I've got to live my life this way. This is the way I was brought up to believe I should live my life. My worth and value is dependent on what I wear and how other people perceive me and what I drive and how much money I have and what kind of relationship I'm in. You know, some people drive their whole sense of worth and value based on those things because they've never learned to love and nurture themselves and believe they're worth more than that. They are worth more than that. None of those things say anything about who they are. But instead of doing the work within themselves emotionally, maybe they only have one pentacle. They might have a lot of status and image in the world. Maybe there's people in their life who have come towards them in the Five of Pentacles. And in order to have the Six of Pentacles, which can be about equal give and take, they never invest in having that equal give and take. And that is them sabotaging and backstabbing themselves. Why are they so afraid of equal give and take in a relationship? Is it because they'd be invested in the relationship? They'd have to treat other people the way they like to be treated. They'd have skin in the game. They're vulnerable. And in their pride and ego, it's like, no, I can't emotionally be vulnerable in a relationship. You know, somebody wants me to be vulnerable, you know, and emotionally invested. I just can't do that. Why? You know, if they don't have a very strong emotional foundation, and it would just completely devastate them if they were, it's like getting in a relationship, having sex with people, living the whole life, but never really authentically emotionally investing in it, letting your more vulnerable, authentic nature out in the world to play because if something happened, you know, it's like they haven't grown and matured themselves by world emotionally. They have this like lack mentality. Things don't work out for me. And when people have this philosophy that life, things don't work out for me, people reject me, blah, 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 people backstab and betray me because it maybe happened before. Well, then, sadly, when they get in relationships with people who is a good match to them, who they could move forward with, who has that hopeful, believing nature, is loving, is nurturing, is creative and inspired and all those things, they sabotage the relationship because they feel stuck because part of it would be emotionally they might want to invest, but like their mind stops them from taking action on it and they turn their back on those people in their life and eventually the people in their life kind of move on and they sabotage relationships. We prove ourselves true. If we think, oh no, people reject me, people don't really love me, nothing ever really works out for me, they will prove themselves true. How differently would you act in a relationship if you thought, you know what, I love this person, I believe in this person, I'm going to listen to my intuition. You know, I want to be proud of myself. I want to know I gave everything I had. I want to enjoy my life. If I'm going to be in a relationship with them, I'm going to be loving and warm and giving. Hopefully they'll be loving, warm, and giving in response, and we'll move forward in life. And if they're not warm and loving and giving, I'm going to move on. You know, I can detach from this. You know, I can let it go. Some people don't have that philosophy of life. I just would rather not invest. I'd maybe rather invest just in the world and turn my back and not do love. I have too much fear and insecurity about it. But I'm saying if you were loving and giving in a relationship, at least you could know I gave everything I could and I can be proud of myself and I can move on in life. Other people just aren't willing to do that. It's like, I guess they take it more personally. I mean, we can all take it personally when a relationship doesn't work out. It hurts, you know, but to realize we don't control other people. They're motivated by their own fears, their own insecurities, their self-limiting beliefs, whatever. They can get caught up in addiction. There's no guarantees in life. Are we willing to get on the roller coaster of life or not? And how differently do people behave in a relationship if they're fearful and insecure, if they're always afraid of being backstabbed and betrayed because somebody else did that? How differently do you act in a relationship versus if you have hope and faith and belief? I'm willing to start new. I'm willing to start fresh. I'm willing to let the past go and not let the past keep influencing my future. How differently do you act in a relationship? And some people, because they have all that fear and insecurity, they actually sabotage a relationship. They think nothing will work out for them, that people are going to reject them. They are the ones who actually sabotage the relationship. They won't listen to their intuition. They won't take loving, nurturing action in the relationship. They maybe act out of pride and ego and defensiveness, and people end a relationship with them. You know, in their pride and ego, they're unwilling to learn lessons in life. Maybe I should deal with my fears and insecurities. Maybe I should wonder why I don't invest in love. Why do I backstab and betray people? Sometimes people who are in shadowy energy, they're hoping that the people they get in relationship with won't love and believe in themselves and listen to their intuition and end a relationship with them, and that they'll keep staying in a relationship and investing in the relationship where they don't ever have to deal with their issues. It's like, perfect. You don't love and believe in yourself either. Perfect. Me neither. Um, and the people in their life could keep, they offer very little, or to get they offer very little in exchange for people offering them love, is what I'm saying, I guess. And the things of the world that they could offer could be, you know, we've got our time, our energy, our attention, our money, and we also have like our sexuality. This person maybe doesn't really offer love, but they could kind of think, if I can get people in a relationship with me who are loving, and I can try to confuse them about the truth and make them be an illusion that this relationship is going to move forward in truth and love. If I get them in a relationship with me and we go forward, and I've created this illusion that I'm bold and brave and confident, that I'm not, shadowy Pisces would kind of be being in our pride and ego, that, oh no, I'm not my pride and ego. No, I'm bold and brave and confident to get in a new relationship and to work together with you and move forward to bring a dream into reality. They're hoping that if they do all that and they get someone in a relationship, and especially if it's someone who's loving and nurturing, who puts a lot of work and effort into a relationship, that the other person will kind of be in denial, that they're maybe moving forward in a more, either because of status and image and money and materialism, or because this person is investing in them emotionally and making them feel better. And it makes them look like they're moving forward in life. So kind of like pride and ego, but they're hoping the person doesn't see that they're moving forward more in their egoic, emotionally defensive nature. And they're hoping something won't come up to show that they are really defensive about truly bringing the dream into reality, authentically being loving and nurturing and supportive. And they're hoping as time goes by that the Eight of Swords, that people will keep putting work and effort into this relationship, not realizing they're always in fear of people leaving or backstabbing them, or that they're very insecure, even though they might have, the Queen of Pentacles could be things of the world that make people view you as successful. It could be that you're attractive. It could be that you have money, whatever. They're hoping that other people don't realize that they have a lot of fear and insecurities, probably, about love and trusting other people and believing in other people, that they really haven't grown their own foundation, that they might look like they're very stable in the world, but they're kind of in denial, some of them, that their foundation is supposed to get more balance between their mind and their heart, because otherwise that keeps them tipped out of balance and it can overwhelm them, and they could have a lot of fears and insecurities that they don't ever deal with, and it ends up coming out in the relationship eventually, because they don't ever deal with those issues within themselves and kind of grow and mature themselves, and they just wear this social mask out in the world, which is what the masculine energy can be about, because it's how we present ourselves in the world. They present themselves as being like a very nurturing, loving person, but they're kind of in denial that we're meant to heal from our past pain and heartbreak so that we can move forward in life and let those old ways of being go. And they seem to be in denial of not wanting to see the truth of that. And that's why their foundation likes to move forward just the way they've always done it. And they're hoping their partner will be in denial of the fact they could have even been a partner to someone else in the past, and that relationship didn't work out. And they ended up in their pride and ego about that relationship ending. And they could have moved forward in life trying to emotionally manipulate someone else who could be very loving and giving and nurturing in the world. They made them an offer to get in a relationship. That person didn't know the truth of who they were. They offered them a new emotional beginning, thinking this dream was going to come into reality. They have been putting work and effort to move this relationship forward and bring it into reality. And the person who's doing that is feeling overwhelmed and maybe really up in their head about this relationship if they want to keep investing in it, because their intuition is telling them that the other person might not be who they presented themselves to be, and that they might be more interested in moving forward in the relationship to want to just be in a relationship with someone, to have someone maybe give and nurture them, and they kind of operate from this prideful, egotistical, stubborn, or fearful nature that they could even have money, and they could have thought that if they offered money to someone else in a way, or their sexuality, whatever it could be, that someone would keep wanting to stay in a relationship. And then if they get in a relationship and they're moving forward and they seem to have this status and this image and the stability and the security, that the other people would be up in their head about leaving them when they realize this person really isn't who they say they are. They do operate more from pride and ego and are kind of defensive and don't want to move forward in truth and love. But they could, in the Ten of Wands, they could put a lot of effort into the relationship in maybe a sexual way, or using their creativity or their imagination or their charm or their social skills. Because Ten of Wands is Sagittarius energy. They could be very social, very flamboyant, kind of those kind of things that maybe someone else might like about them. And originally that's what kind of could attracted them to the relationship. They even could have viewed them as somebody who appealed to, because Libra energy can be like a people pleaser, and it can be kind of like a camouflage thing. It kind of, with being a people pleaser, it's like, oh, what do you like? What kind of people are you interested in? Oh, I can be that. It's kind of this camouflage type of way of being. Somebody could have thought that someone harnessed more Sagittarius energy, that they did look at life as an adventure to be lived, that they were more bold and brave and confident. But again, that could have been what they wanted to present, because they felt left out in the cold, because they felt stuck, and they thought in their fiery energy, which Sagittarius is also fiery energy, I know, I will use my Leo energy can be, my charm, my charisma, my way of being in the world that seems very successful. Like I shine very bright. I could be very attractive, male or female. I could seem like I'm very successful in the world. I'm going to use all of those things to try to manipulate someone into being my partner and investing in offering me investing in me in love, but I'm kind of more maybe trying to appeal to those some things in the world that appeal to them. It could even be my status and my looks and my image and my social persona and all of that stuff that's very appealing because they think I'm a very bold, brave, creative, inspired, looking at life as an adventure person, but I'm really not. I'm just trying to present a persona of being that. And this person in the Two of Swords in their Libra energy didn't see the truth of who they are. And a lot of times when we get in a relationship initially with people, we don't know the truth of who they are. In the Three of Pentacles, we work together with them. In the Six of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune, we move forward with people to get to know them. Some people that are trying to manipulate someone right now is really putting a lot of work and effort into trying to get that person to maybe make them their partner. And they're trying not to show them that they're in a mental prison. Let's ask why. Why are they in a mental prison? Because of the truth? Well, for one, in the Knight of Swords, they're defensive of really moving forward in truth and love. They prefer to be in a more transactional relationship. I give you this, you give me that. And the King of Pentacles, people who are mature and nurturing and loving within themselves, who offer love to other people, they're afraid of them finding out the truth, that they're defensive to actually being more vulnerable and loving in a relationship, that they want to be in the relationship being more transactional, or because they want this person, they emotionally want to be a counterpart to a King of Pentacles, male or female. This could be a man, this could be a female. This is someone emotionally who wants to be a counterpart to someone who seems very successful in the world or seems very nurturing and loving and abundant in the world. And they could feel left out in the cold, either don't know how to love and believe in themselves, or financially they feel left out in the cold. And they want someone to either give to them emotionally to fill their cup up, or they want someone to exchange financial resources with them. And it's not being in a relationship because of love. It has to do with Six of Pentacles, Taurus energy, their underlying philosophy in life. Some shadowy people are dating or in relationship or working with people in a foundation where they have different underlying philosophies of life. The one has a much more lack mentality or ego mentality or materialistic mentality, prideful, egotistical mentality. The other one has a philosophy based on love. And as the person based in love is listening to their intuition and moving forward in this relationship, they're becoming overwhelmed. Because if you're in a relationship with someone else, that could be you realize, maybe initially people didn't want to acknowledge the truth because they could have found this person attractive, appealing, all these different reasons. And they could have been hopeful and optimistic that over time the other person would change, and that's a big lesson to learn in life. People are the way they are. To think that we can change people's basic philosophy of life, they've really got to go through some things. Those are the people who are Oh my God, I almost died. Oh my gosh, I almost killed myself. It takes some dramatic things in life to really, at a foundational level, to change people's way of either perceiving themselves and how they view relationships and how they view the world. If someone is a much more ego driven, status driven, they probably haven't done a lot of work within themselves to love and believe in themselves. They'd have a lot of work to do to love and believe in themselves and quit making their life about fear and insecurity and image and status and hiding from the world. And some people are overwhelmed at the thought of doing that and they're defensive of doing it. It's like sometimes people who are shadowy, who get in relationships with loving people, eventually they get tired of it too. It's like, I am so tired of you trying to heal me and change me and make me get out of my pride or ego or my addictions. It's like, I'm going to go find someone who will let me be me. And we all have the right to be ourselves and to live life the way we want it. We can keep resisting it. We can give it everything we got. No, by golly, you're coming with me. Why would we be so bound and determined to try to make someone who really doesn't want to live life the way we want to live it, drag them with us? Is it because we're afraid that they'll go get in another relationship? No, by golly, I know you're kind of manipulative and prideful and egotistical and blah blah blah, and I'm going to drag you with me because I don't want you to go. I know you'll take action out of pride and ego. You'll go get in a relationship with someone else because you're defensive of taking a leap of faith and love or believing in yourself, that you'll just go get in a relationship with someone else who's willing to invest in you emotionally or sexually or materialistically. And some people are in their pride and ego about that. I don't want them to go get in a relationship with someone else. Wow. That's kind of wild, right? Let them go. Set yourself free. Quit being in a mental prison about it. Let them go do what they're going to do. Because the thing is, if we're in relationships with people thinking, if I just keep doing this, blah, 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 I can make them toe the line, they'll do it, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, that could almost end up more like a parent-child relationship. And children rebel against their parents. They want to be independent. And if people want to live their life differently than you, they're going to rebel anyway. And eventually the loving people can kind of feel like, oh my gosh, it's so exhausting to try to get you to toe the line. Why am I doing this? Why am I in a mental prison about you? There's other people I could get in a relationship with, but why don't people do that? Why don't either of them get out of it when they view life completely differently? They're motivated and inspired by different things. If one person's being manipulated, why stay in a relationship where you're overwhelmed because somebody's manipulating you? Probably because of the Eight of Swords, that people aren't showing that, I don't know, I already invested time, energy, and effort in with this person. I'm defensive of starting fresh and new. I'm defensive admitting that it failed. In my pride and ego, I want to keep moving forward even though my dream isn't coming into reality, but I'm defensive of taking a leap of faith and starting fresh and new. Maybe I won't meet another partner. Well, you won't meet another partner if you don't believe you'll meet another partner. If you love and believe in yourself and you align with your more loving, creative, inspired nature, offering love and kindness and stuff to people in the world, there's going to be other people that sense that you're not prideful and egotistical and selfish and greedy and all that stuff, and they're going to want to invest in you, And some people right now might be being inspired by other people in the world who they see did take a leap of faith to start fresh and start new. They could have left behind and closed out relationships with people who were stubborn or prideful or egotistical or manipulative, who didn't want to move forward in love, who wanted them to stay in a relationship, backstabbing their own dreams, giving up on their dreams because those people have given up on their dreams because they don't love and believe in themselves, or other people hurt them, so now they don't want to do love, and other people got in relationships with them and they were like, no, you should stay in the relationship with me because of the status and the image and the money. Oh, by the way, I don't want to be the loving person I presented myself to be. I will have sex with you, maybe. I will present the facade, but I'm going to keep operating from my more emotionally defensive, prideful, egotistical nature. But you should just stay in denial of that and keep moving forward in this illusion, continuing to feel overwhelmed about the fact that your dream isn't coming into reality. And other people said no. They were bold and brave. They listened to their intuition. They ended that relationship. They loved themselves. They invested in loving themselves and listening to their intuition. And they've healed. And they're moving forward in life. And they're giving it everything they've got to have a brand new beginning. And some people that are still stuck in those types of living their life or in their pain and heartbreak, even if it isn't a relationship, they present themselves as stable and grounded, but emotionally, they haven't done the work to truly be that type of person. And there could be in denial that their foundation has some things to heal from before they can have a new beginning. They might be motivated. They might be inspired. They might want to make an offer to someone. But high vibe people, if those people haven't healed, the high vibe people are going to be defensive to them because they've been in relationships with people like that. And they don't want to repeat that same pattern of relationship. I've been in relationships with people who it ends up being more of a transactional relationship. And I'm not interested. I have a dream I want to bring into reality. And some people can be overwhelmed because they're staying in the relationship they're in. They see other people knowing they're going to manifest their dreams into reality, that they're going to go invest in other bold, brave, confident people who have good boundaries against their fearful, insecure, shadowy nature, who are willing to take leaps of faith, and they're going to go manifest their dreams into reality. And some people back here are watching them like, shoot, I'd really like to do that too, but I'm in a mental prison about love, so I'm going to stay in the relationship I'm in that's overwhelming. And then there's other people just like you. Some of you are up here. You've moved on. You're starting fresh. You're starting new. You're not in your ego anymore about people in your past who weren't willing to be bold and brave and authentic and loving and in a relationship. You saw the truth. Oh, they're fearful, they're insecure. Oh, they're prideful, they're egotistical. Oh, they're very worldly focused. Whatever. Go live your life. I'm moving on. I'm not in my ego about it. I'm not in my competitive energy about it. I've let it go. I've moved on. From the Six of Wands to the Nine of Wands here, that means there was a Three of Wands at play. The Three of Wands is expecting a dream to come into reality. People have moved on and they no longer they've taken back thinking a dream could come into reality with people who live their life like that. They've been there, they've done that. They see it doesn't come into reality. They've learned it's just overwhelming. Being with people who are in their shadow energy, fear, insecurity, pride, ego, immaturity, indulgence, addiction, selfishness, pride, ego, it doesn't come into reality. I know my dream can't come into reality with those people. And I am defending my philosophy of life. I'm standing up for myself, putting in work and effort to maintain my balance so I don't tip into my fear, my insecurity, and indulging people like that anymore. I believe I can manifest my dreams into reality. I'm going on a new life journey. And there's some people that are overwhelmed. Some people did all this to try to manipulate you to stay in a relationship with them. And you're no longer in a mental prison about them. And they were like, well, wait a minute. When you left the relationship with me and moved forward, I went and got in a relationship with someone else thinking you would be up in your head about it. and that you would come back and not believe in yourself and give up on your dreams, and you would communicate with me that you wanted to come back and repeat this pattern of relationship with me. And you're like, no, I've moved on. And they're like, well, shit. I'm stuck in a relationship. Well, they could have even gotten in another relationship, but then because their manipulation wasn't working, and the whole thing was this mental strategy game to try to get you to come back and be in a relationship with them, they ended a relationship with the person that they were trying to manipulate, someone else who might have felt left out in the cold, someone else who might have experienced an ending in a relationship, someone else who felt stuck and was kind of in their pride and ego about an ending, and they made that person an offer, or that person made them an offer, and they got in this relationship, but they never, for some, they never intended to stay in it, because they thought for sure you were going to come back. Well, you didn't. And now it's like, shit, am I going to keep moving forward in this relationship with someone else who maybe isn't like you, who isn't loving and warm and giving and nurturing and supportive, who might be like me, who has a lack mentality, who lives more from their mind than their heart, who's kind of emotionally manipulative and prideful and egotistical and doesn't ever grow and mature themselves, and they want to keep having me invest in a relationship with them, and I feel stuck because I really wanted to move forward with the loving people, but because I acted prideful and egotistical, those people moved on. Now they're just overwhelmed about love. But odds are, if they were shadowy like that, they're not gonna take the creative inspired work to get out of their more ego-based, self-centered nature. They're probably instead going to go back to the person that they tried to manipulate to see if that person will get back in a relationship with them, because they're in a mental prison about being bold and brave, but they're overwhelmed about the fact that they tried to manipulate you, and you're not in your head about them anymore, and you're going to have a brand new beginning. So tell us about the shadowy people, what they don't see coming. Let's see, I want a deck that none of the cards have come out yet. Tell us about what the people in shadowy energy right now don't see coming. Oh, we had some cards flip. That some people who harness high vibe Aries energy are going to take that bold creative action in their life to heal from past pain and heartbreak, and they are going to make a love offer to people and speak their truth, maybe to the loving people who left this person's life. And the high vibe people are going to speak their truth, that they have moved forward with people who have good boundaries within themselves, who again harness Aries energy, who are bold and brave and confident. And don't get caught up if you know an Aries in your life who's kind of shadowy and prideful and egotistical. It's not them. It's just someone who harnesses high vibe Aries energy. And the interesting thing is, Libra and Aries are kind of on opposite sides of each other. If you were to put the zodiac signs like in a circle, sometimes people in life, like I'm a Cancer sign, so my opposite sign is Capricorn. We kind of have to go to these different extremes in life. Like me, I could go to extremes in life like, no, love, love, love. I love them, and I've really got to learn some lessons about that. And I kind of can go out to the extreme edge on that. And then I have to be more grounded and practical in my Capricorn energy to realize, and then I can go to the other extreme of Capricorn energy to learn to put in work and effort into my own foundation and love myself instead of giving and loving to other people so much. And that way, then when I do both extremes, I can kind of balance in the middle, because the whole thing in life and tarot is talking about balance. that's when we're at peace within ourselves and we get the justice we deserve. And I think we kind of do that with all the different zodiac sign traits and characteristics within ourselves. And that's when we get to like Emperor Empress energy, because we have gone through those life experiences, and if we were willing to learn the lessons from those life experiences and not get in our ego about it, we kind of become a really great manager of our own life, because we did go to all those different extremes to learn lessons in life. And so sometimes some people have had lessons to learn between their Libra and Aries energy. You might know someone who, in their Libra energy, living more from their mind than their heart, thought it seemed practical and grounded to live their life this way. And other people did that. They found it overwhelming. They decided to tap into their more fiery nature, which can be their Aries energy, of I'm willing to put myself out there and be bold and brave and confident. And right now there's some people who might be more aligned with their more worldly Libra energy, instead of being willing to explore that other nature within themselves of being more bold and brave and confident. And there's other people who aren't, because not everybody in their Libra energy is needless and shadowy energy. We've been talking about the bold, brave people. But why are people doing it this way? Because they have lessons to learn. They've went out on that edge of thinking it's logical and practical, living more from their mind than their heart. And they thought it seemed like the right decision at the time. Because whatever we do in our life, we justify and think it's the right decision at the time. And those people are finding out that living their life that way is overwhelming. That they were in denial of the truth. That their worldly foundation was driving their life forward instead of their more intuitive, creative, inspired nature. And they're going to probably eventually get out of those relationships to be more bold and brave and confident. And other people have already done that, and they're maybe more balanced with the Aries energy and the Libra energy together. There's going to be, what the shadowy people don't realize is that there's other people in the world who have come to a place of balance between their dualistic nature, their fiery nature, and the things of the world that they want, and what they think is just and fair and loving, and maybe not tipping so much into their mind or their materialistic nature, and trying to find balance between their more creative, inspired nature in truth and love. And those people are the people that are right now are going to have a new beginning, because they have seen the truth and they're able to move forward. And when we see the truth, that's what sets us free, that we can move forward in our life. We have learned a lesson in life. We have shed a layer of our fear, our insecurity, our pride, our ego, our self-limiting beliefs. We've learned what aspects within our more immature and our more egoic nature that we need to have good discipline about, because we've already done that and it didn't end well. Some people learn those lessons. Other people are still learning those lessons. The people who have learned their lessons are ready to go on a new journey in life, because they don't have any interest of repeating that pattern of relationship anymore, or way of living or thinking about themselves, because they've been there, they've done it, they did the work to learn the lesson, to close it out, to love and believe in themselves, to offer love to their more immature worldly nature, to love themselves, to listen to their intuition, to put in work and effort to love and believe in themselves. That the solution to moving away from my own mental conflict is to love and believe in myself and take some bold creative action from loving myself, to get out of my head and take some bold creative action to have good boundaries within myself, so I don't keep repeating these same patterns and indulging in the same type of ways of being. I need to grow and mature myself, and I am willing to get out of my ego to admit I've got lessons to learn. And some people haven't learned the lessons you've learned, so they're going to go another round. That cycle and opportunity they had to learn those lessons with those people have passed them by because they chose to be stubborn and prideful and egotistical. And they're going to think they have a better idea. They're going to go get in another relationship in denial of the truth. And sometimes we just don't see the truth. Sometimes people don't realize, oh, is that how they did it? I have been all confused over here and stuck. What? You have to kind of offer to love yourself? That I'm a fallible human being who makes mistakes? That I'm not perfect? That I had lessons to learn? Maybe other people in my life that I got relationships with had lessons to learn. They weren't perfect. They could have been kind of selfish or greedy or prideful or egotistical. We're all fallible human beings. That's when we realize and look at mistakes we've made in our life, we can offer compassion and forgiveness to other people in our life because they're just a fallible human being. And if we don't want to be on team ego, we need to offer compassion to the people in our life and ourselves, that if everybody knew better, they'd do better. But people got different things to work through, and we let it go, and we move forward, and we love and believe in ourselves, and we take some bold, brave, confident action to get out of our ego that everybody in the world is supposed to love us. And oh my God, if somebody didn't love me and somebody was kind of rude or unkind or whatever, I don't control them. I am not going to take that personally upon myself of a reflection of my worth and value. If I controlled them, I would have made them loving and kind and nurturing, but they have free will based on their own issues. And I'm not going to take responsibility for it. I'm going to love and give myself everything I wish they had given me. And I'm going to be bold and brave to believe that I can manifest my dreams into reality. I am not going to let prideful, egotistical, manipulative, sad, people who don't believe in themselves, who weren't willing to move forward with me, I'm not going to let those people keep me from having my dreams come into reality. I wish them peace. That's another thing that they don't see, and they maybe don't understand, is that people who've healed wish them peace. And it's like, how can you wish me peace when I maybe tried to manipulate you and control you, and I was stubborn, and I was prideful and egotistical? It's like, because that's your issues to deal with, and I let it go. It's nothing, I can't change it, only you can change it, and only love changes, really actually changes people. So I wish you peace. We need less people like that in the world. I wish you peace. But I'm going to speak my truth, and I'm going to stand up for what I believe in, and I'm not going to keep indulging you in a relationship, But I wish you peace, and they could find that really confusing. How are you still nice to me when you see me in the world? It's like, because I've healed. Holding on to anger and animosity and all that stuff does nothing for me but keep me trapped. And I want to be free. I want to be free to live my authentic life. And if you choose to be that way, that's your free will choice. I'm no longer in conflict about it. Peace out. Hope it works for you. I'm going to move on. I hope you move on too, because we need less people, stubborn and prideful and mean and icky people in the world. But, your free will choice. So there you go, Libra. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.